Welcome to Lesson 35, the one that quietly turns junior techs into senior ones. Here's the secret. Ask first, fix second. The instinct to dive in and start fixing feels productive, but the senior move is to pause and ask a few sharp questions. 5 questions, 2 minutes, no keyboard. And you've narrowed 80% of tickets before you've touched a thing. So let's meet the first 4 of those questions. Question 1. When did this start? If the answer is today, that's gold. Something just changed and your log window just got tiny. Question 2. What changed recently? Updates, new software, a VPN install last night. Users always downplay it, so ask explicitly. Question 3. Just you or others too? That single answer tells you if it's one PC, one team, or a company-wide P1. And question 4, can you reproduce it right now? Reproducible is easy, intermittent is the nightmare. And very often, walking through the steps is when the user spots their own mistake. Question 5 is the cleanup. Did it ever work properly? If it never worked, you're hunting a config or permissions issue. If it worked yesterday and broke today, you're hunting a change. That one question saves you 30 minutes of digging in the wrong direction. Now, just as important as what you ask is how you ask it. Open questions. Tell me what happened. Walk me through it. Get you the story. Closed questions. Are you on Wi-Fi or Ethernet? Confirm the details. Pros open for breadth, then close for depth. That's the pattern. Here's the whole framework on one screen. 5 questions, 4 typical answers each, 20 branches total. Each branch points you somewhere specific. Always on question 1, you're looking at config or permissions. Whole site on question 3, that's a P1. Escalate immediately. Right now on question 4, connect in and watch it live. Memorize this tree. 1 minute in, you've narrowed the category. 2 minutes in, you're testing a hypothesis. That's what professional diagnosis actually looks like. Now, knowing the questions is only half the job. The other half is shutting up long enough to hear the answers. Junior instinct is to jump in. The second you spot a fix, don't. Wait 5 seconds after they finish. They'll often add the detail that cracks the case. Reflect back what you heard to confirm scope. Hold off on solutions until you've got the full picture and use neutral noises. Okay, I see, to keep them talking. Silence is your friend in a diagnostic interview. And here's the next level. Stop trusting words altogether. Users tell you what they think happened, and they're often wrong, so make them show you. On the phone, walk them through it, click by click. They narrate. You hear the real sequence. Better yet, screen share through Teams or AnyDesk. That's the gold standard, 10 times faster than any description. Can't do live. Ask for a screenshot with Win plus Shift plus S. And when it's still murky, reproduce it on your own machine. That's how you isolate whether it's the server, the file, or their PC. Now let's see all of this in action. 4 real tickets, 4 vague complaints, and watch what 5 questions do to each one. Computer is slow, becomes a Windows update from last night. 2 minutes, rollback, done. Can't print, turns out to be team-wide the moment you ask who else is affected. That's a P2 escalation, not a PC troubleshoot. The VPN ticket never worked because the user skipped install steps. And Outlook crashes randomly, stops being random the second you connect it to the new monitor. Graphics driver, same pattern every time. Questions shrink the problem until the answer is obvious. Before we wrap up, lock these 12 terms into your vocabulary. This is the language seniors actually speak. Triage, scope, reproduce, intermittent. These aren't buzzwords, they're shortcuts. When you tell a senior it's intermittent and I can't reproduce it, they instantly know the problem is hard. When you say I reflected back and asked them to show me, they know you ran a clean interview. Open queue, closed queue, hypothesis before testing. Memorize all 12. This is how you sound like a pro on day 1. Now let's flip it. 5 things juniors believe that will burn you. 1. Questions waste time. No, wrong fixes waste 10 times more. 2. Users know what's wrong. They know symptoms, not causes. 3. They'll mention what changed. They won't ask explicitly. 4. More questions equals more thorough. Wrong. 5 calibrated questions beats 15 scattered ones. 5. Always ask open. No, open for breadth, closed for depth. You need both. Memorize these traps so you don't fall into them. And that's lesson 35 in the bag. Interview skills locked in. 5 essential questions. Open then closed. Pause and listen, and always show me beats describe. Next up in lesson 36, we stop relying on the user's words and start seeing their screen ourselves. AnyDesk, TeamViewer, Quick Assist, 5 help desk lessons, plus the capstone to go. Ask first, fix second. See you in 36.